What if one of the greatest losses in human history was not a kingdom, a treasure, or a city, but a room full of books? For centuries, people have imagined the Library of Alexandria as a place where the memory of the ancient world was gathered under one roof. It stood in Alexandria, Egypt, a city founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BCE, where the Mediterranean Sea met the Nile Delta, and where Greek, Egyptian, Jewish, Persian, and many other cultures crossed paths. Alexandria was not just a port, it was a dream built in stone, marble, and ambition. After Alexander's death, Egypt came under the rule of the Ptolemaic dynasty. The first rulers of this dynasty wanted their new capital to become the intellectual center of the world. Under Ptolemy I Soter and later Ptolemy II Philadelphus in the 3rd century BCE, the famous library became part of a larger institution known as the Museion, a sanctuary of the Muses. This was not a library in the modern sense. It was a research center, a meeting place, and a home for scholars. Mathematicians, poets, astronomers, doctors, philosophers, and historians came to Alexandria to study and write. They were given food, lodging, and time. In return, they produced knowledge. The dream was bold, to collect all the books of the known world. Ancient writers claimed that ships arriving in Alexandria were searched for scrolls. Any books found on board could be taken, copied, and stored. The original might stay in the library, while the copy was returned to the owner. Whether every detail of this story is true or not, it shows how strongly Alexandria wanted to gather knowledge. The library's shelves may have held hundreds of thousands of papyrus scrolls. Some ancient estimates reach as high as 700,000, though modern historians are careful with those numbers. What matters is not only the size of the collection, but what it represented, the belief that human knowledge could be saved, organized, and passed forward. Inside this world, some of history's greatest minds worked. Euclid, often called the father of geometry, taught in Alexandria around 300 BCE. Eratosthenes, the chief librarian in the 3rd century BCE, calculated the circumference of the earth with remarkable accuracy by comparing shadows in Egypt. Callimachus created a massive catalog of authors and works, one of the earliest great systems for organizing literature. Later, scholars such as Aristarchus of Samothrace studied Homer with care that still shapes how ancient texts are read today. But the library's story is also a mystery, because no single fire destroyed it all at once in the simple way many people imagine. The most famous event came in 48 BCE, when Julius Caesar became involved in a civil war in Egypt between Cleopatra VII and her brother Ptolemy XIII. During the fighting in Alexandria, Caesar's forces set fire to ships in the harbor. Ancient sources suggest that flames spread and destroyed stored books or warehouses near the docks. Some later writers connected this fire to the library itself. But history is rarely that clean. The library may have suffered damage during Caesar's time, but it likely did not disappear in a single night. Institutions decline in stages. Funding changes. Rulers lose interest. Wars disturb scholars. Political conflict weakens cities. Scrolls decay in the humid air. Copies are lost when no one has the money, time, or desire to preserve them. Alexandria continued to be a center of learning after Caesar, but by the Roman period, its old glory was fading. In 30 BCE, Egypt became part of the Roman Empire after the defeat of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. The city remained important, but it no longer held the same royal support that had made the library possible. Another blow came in 272 CE when Emperor Aurelian fought to retake Alexandria during a conflict involving Queen Zenobia of Palmyra. Parts of the city, including the royal quarter where the great library may have once stood, were damaged. Later, in 391 CE, Emperor Theodosius I ordered the closing of pagan temples across the empire. The Serapeum of Alexandria, a temple connected with learning and sometimes called a daughter library, was destroyed during religious conflict. Some books may have been lost there, too. Over time, fact and legend became tangled. Some stories blamed Caesar, others blamed later Roman emperors. Some medieval accounts blamed the Arab conquest of Egypt in the 7th century, though many modern historians doubt those later claims. The truth is more haunting. The Library of Alexandria was probably not lost in one dramatic moment. It faded through a long chain of fires, wars, neglect, and change. That may be why the story feels so painful. We do not know exactly what was lost. Lost plays by Greek dramatists, lost histories of Egypt and Persia, scientific works that could have changed the path of medicine, mathematics, or astronomy, maps of lands no longer described, poems whose voices vanished before they could reach us. The Library of Alexandria became more than a building. It became a symbol of every forgotten book, every broken archive, every idea that disappeared before someone could copy it. And yet its legacy survived in another way. The scholars of Alexandria helped create methods of reading, cataloging, editing, measuring, comparing, and questioning. They showed that knowledge is not only something we collect, it is something we protect, something we organize, something we pass from one generation to the next. Today, when we walk into a library, open a database, search an archive, or save a document, we are living inside the same old dream, that memory can survive time. The lost Library of Alexandria reminds us that civilization is fragile. A city can rise beside the sea. A ruler can gather the brightest minds of an age. A room can hold the thoughts of centuries. But without care, even the greatest storehouse of knowledge can become a question whispered through history. Perhaps the real mystery is not how the library was lost. Perhaps the real mystery is how much of the ancient world once waited there, written on scrolls, breathing in silence, hoping someone would remember. If you enjoy stories like this, please follow for more hidden history and untold stories from around the world.